The coronavirus is impacting sports teams and leagues around the world. Italy is set to hold all of its sporting events in stadiums without fans until April 3rd. Playing in front of empty seats has become a trend across the globe. Here's an image from last week's Europa League soccer game in Milan. That's the part of Italy where the virus has had an outbreak. In Japan, baseball players took the field in front of an empty stadium Saturday. The country's soccer league has postponed matches through March 15th. Milwaukee Bucks co-owner Mark Lazary discussed the potential impact of the outbreak on the NBA during an interview on CNBC yesterday.
Would you be willing, if it came to it, to play basketball games with nobody in the stands?
Would I? I'd definitely be there. So I'll be there.
Well, could you envision a scenario in which it gets to that?
I think if the NBA determines that, that could happen. So if you're going to do it to basketball, you're going to do it to baseball, you're going to be doing it throughout with all these sporting events. So I don't know. I hope we don't get there.
Lee Igel is a clinical associate professor at the NYU Tisch Institute for Global Sports. Lee, welcome. Good to have you with us. In just a couple of weeks, the NCAA basketball tournaments will begin for men and women. Yesterday, Stanford and Palo Alto said they're going to limit the number of fans that they let into their tournament site to allow for sufficient social distancing. I guess it's a 6-foot barrier between individuals. Is that smart?
If it isn't smart, it's certainly thoughtful. There are signs and signals that what we see happening in Europe and in parts of Asia in terms of sports may be coming here to the States. Yeah.
Do you expect to see more and more of it with schools potentially canceling road trips and saying we're going to stay home because we don't want to go, let's say, to the Seattle area where there has been multiple cases?
Yeah, I think it's not yet a new normal for sports, but it's certainly one that sports businesses, sports organizations, from the top all the way down to junior and his weekend tournaments need to think about.
Well, that's an interesting point because we focused on the big events, and I'll get to the biggest of them all, the Olympics, in just a moment. We focused on the big professional events, the college events, but it is also those youth tournaments where teams travel on the buses, where teams often stay in hotels and motels together. Those things could ultimately become casualties.
Oh, for sure. I mean, these are tournications.
Yeah.
Family packs up in the van and heads to a weekend tournament. So certainly all of it could be impacted.
And it's obviously not just the event itself that is affected here. It is ancillary businesses and incomes of individuals who work in the neighborhoods around the stadiums, who work in the stadiums, in the vending world. These people could be really impacted by that.
For sure. And we've actually seen some hints of it over time with lockouts. For example,
exactly.
Sushi restaurant that's next door to the stadium or the arena not only misses out on business from fans, but it's the team spread.
Quick thought on the Tokyo Olympics. They're going to have to make a decision.
There will have to be a decision about the Tokyo Olympics before too long. We're not there yet, but it's coming down the pike.